What's up, fam? Welcome to the Flow State Outdoors podcast.
And I just can't live without you.
What do you mean? There's fucking 2 Sheilas in the boat.
Listen to me every time.
Start off. My name is Andrew McKinstray. Before anyone even wonders who the man is on the audio, my Instagram handle is AMCK Creative, which is also my business name, with a second leg off that, which is AMCK Photo, which is for the wedding business I also have for photo and film. Not a personal plug to go check out my stuff, but just letting you know who I am, because I may in fact be known as AMCK Creative as opposed to Andy or Macka most commonly. I have been in the creative space for probably a good 9 or 10 years now, playing cameras in both photos and more recently focusing more on the video side of things, which is where my business was forced to sort of be directed subject to the change in, or the shift in the business demand in that creative space or content space. So massive passion for photography that not unfortunately, but had to be switched and be molded to accommodate for what employers were looking for at that given time. So that's sort of how that all came about.
When did that come about? When do you reckon that change was? Because
I reckon the biggest switch in that I noticed was probably back in maybe I reckon I'd give it a good 7 years. Everything was so photography, photos, and social media started feeding people video content, and then the demand grew from there. So each business had to stay on top of that and keep up with the demand for the consumer level network wanting video. So I sort of had to pretend I also knew how to do video and got thrown in the deep end with that, and I learned the hard way how to do it without asking for any help, and sort of had to...
Didn't want to ask, or...?
I talked the talk to get a job, and I had to learn how to walk the walk really, really, really quickly. So I walked the walk the wrong way for a long time until I did ask for help. So you're right, I definitely reached out. I think that's the best thing someone can do to learn something, is either get in there and do it or seek help. And, you know, I didn't even look at things like YouTube as a resource to better understand what I was doing. I was still reaching out to people that I knew personally that were open to helping me adapt and to learn. So it was a big mix up in the way that I did things. And at that time I was still working within the retail space. And like I said, I was given an opportunity to be employed off the basis of being asked what I wanted to do as a job. And my response was I wanted to play cameras. It's a joke that I personally use for a long time now as well. People ask me what I do for a job, and I say I play cameras, which is in no way, shape or form the correct way to say I'm a photographer or a videographer, but it works for me. I also play fishing. And I don't know, it's something that's always just stuck for me, and people kind of look at me and go, what the fuck are you even talking about? But that's what I do. I play cameras and I play fishing, and sometimes I play both at the same time, and they go hand in hand. So back in the early days, as I said, coming from a retail background, I worked in a skateboarding store. I've been a skateboarder for the better part of 15 years.
That's your original vice, eh?
That was me. That was 100%. Yeah. Skateboarding, that whole skateboarding culture. Started photographing skateboarding. Found out it was a lot easier to get stuff published photographing BMX, because I don't think the caliber of BMX photographers in Brisbane was there. Whereas skateboarding was covered and documented very, very well by very competent people who, again, like-minded, were happy to pass out information to assist in my growth as a skateboarding photographer. But I submitted my first BMX photo. It was a full page in a magazine, which is end goal as a photographer, is to have stuff published. And then off the back of that, I got like a 6 or 7 page spread for an interview for a young fella that I used to hang out with at the skate park here quite regularly. And then the third time I submitted images, I landed a front cover of a magazine. So I kind of hit my pinnacle very quickly for publications or published work in the BMX industry. And then the skateboarding stuff was so hard to crack. And what I found was, as I got a little bit older, I sort of I started fishing more. I think it might have been just gelling off the people I was hanging around at that time that sort of had an interest in fishing, and I refound my passion for fishing that I originally had as a child growing up with my old boy doing it. And I sort of put skateboarding completely on the back burner and took every opportunity I could to fish. And then it was on the days that fishing wasn't available, when it was windy or the weather was like bad enough, that was skateboarding time. So and that's sort of all that. That's where the picking up the camera first started there and transitioned into that.
What was the initial tipping point where you went from not having a camera or not picking up a camera to picking up? Is there a story? Like, where'd that come from?
Weirdly, I think in high school there was one guy, his name was Marshall, and I actually bought my first ever DSLR off him, and he was like a punk rock sort of emo kind of looking dude. Like, no one really knew much about him, but he did he had like a gallery set up at school, I believe, from some of his work. And this is while he was still in his high school years. And I think everyone was pretty like impressed by his capability. And I think that's what sort of really generated and sparked my interest. And I kind of thought, fuck, I could probably, like, I could do that. I do cool stuff outside with cool people. So I could probably do that. So I bought a camera off him and sort of cut my teeth in shooting like that. And then that was all natural light stuff. And then started to move into working with flashes, shooting skateboarding like that, which is a really cool thing to learn how to do is light places correctly with speed lights just to freeze motion adequately. And I guess when you start manipulating light, that's when you best understand how a camera works and how to document your surroundings, because at the end of the day, all we're ever looking for is when we're shooting something is adequate light, the light we want. So
you're talking about adequate camera settings to make the shot look natural as possible, or look a certain way.
To look a certain way more so than natural as possible. Because I mean, I'm shooting 3 or 4 flashes at a time to light not only the subject but the space the subject is in. And once you kind of figure that out, that it really does go a long way. And you know, I leverage off that now, understanding which direction to point lighting when I'm doing video and I'm lighting a subject in video as well. Which, you know, it's pretty boring going from shooting skateboarding to an interview of someone talking. But, you know, when you're using a 3 or 4 light setup in a scenario where you're lighting a person speaking, it's all the basics. It's still the same fundamentals. And I think it was a really good thing to learn from the get-go, which was a very technical part of shooting skateboarding. And crazily enough, you know, 10 years on, speaking to one of my mates, Jake, who is probably one of the most competent skateboarding photographers in the world, he even further developed that by, you know, moving a flash 30 meters away from where he was shooting the actual skateboarding happening to light something completely out of mind, but you'd pick it up as a viewer. So it'd go so unnoticed, but your brain would actually pick it up because, for example, 30 meters away a tree was lit up, but you wouldn't look at the tree, you'd look at the skateboarder, but your brain would actually pick up that connection in light. And that was something he did that no one else had done, and it's honestly amazing to see. And he has been rewarded for that, because he is definitely top caliber of skateboard photographers in existence. And he's a lad from New Zealand who now lives in the USA. So he kind of did it. So he's the kind of people that I had to compete against as a young child shooting skateboarding in the skateboarding industry. So sometimes you kind of if you realise, I guess not give up on the dream, but sometimes you just realise there's lower hanging fruits, and I think that's what I did. And as I was slowly transitioning out of that skateboarding industry, it seemed fitting to try and focus on shooting what I love, which at that point in time was the boating and marine industry, and that's where I ended up working. So I got offered a job in that. I spent 2 years working for a marine outboard company and transitioned to a marketing role for a fishing tackle company, and then pretty much landed my dream job that I'd worked that last kind of 5 years to achieve, which was for Yamaha Motor Australia. And I think I was so happy in my position there, but I set the rule that if the day came that I was going to resent going to work, would be the day that I quit my job. And unfortunately that day came. And the day I woke up and didn't want to go into the office was the day I typed out my resignation letter to give working for myself a good crack before, I guess, I had a wife or a family or a house. I didn't want to ruin 2 lives at once. So I thought
I respect
I'd
that.
bite the bullet now, and if I fucked up big time, it would be me who'd be responsible, and I wasn't going to drag anyone down with me. And it's 3 years on, and I don't have time to even scratch my own balls. So
I feel like taking risks at like early on in your life, in your 20s and shit, is the time to do it if you're going to do it.
yeah, and look, I've only got about 7 more months of saying I'm in my 20s, so I'm going to clutch that for all 7 months, and I'll probably say I'm still in my 20s for as long as I can pass as looking like I'm in my 20s. I got red beard hair coming through now, which is of major concern because red is closer to grey than black. But I also found out my late grandfather had a full head of red hair until he was like 20 years old about 6 weeks ago. So
Fuck, you're on.
learning new things about my heritage, so to speak.
Yeah. Fuck.
Apparently, I could have been a redhead. So, no offense to redheads out there. I love you all. Andy Chu, if you're listening, you're the most beautiful redhead guy I've ever met.
Fucking,
There is nice ones out there.
There's a few.
Yeah.
Fucking, I've got greys, and I'm only 30, so
You're also bald.
I'm also bald.
I got a full head of black hair, often mistaken for someone who is Japanese because
Quite-
it's my
it's quite
beautiful, exquisite dark head of hair.
It's
But
like monotone, hey? Like there's no tint in it. It's just all fucking natural, all one tone the whole way over.
I can feel your hair envy.
I have hair.
And you're not having any of it. So it's night time and Wade's wearing a hat, just to put the listeners into a viewing perspective. And that's because he gets glare off my downlights in the living area. So he's covering the noggin. And yeah, but he supplied a wine I don't drink. So we're here. We're gonna have a bottle of it. I got to drop into the airport at 4:30 in the morning. So only a bottle. We'll stop
I bought
it there,
2 just in case.
and we'll see what kind of dribble we can come up with between then and there.
So the transition from like the 9 to 5 on wages, all that sort of stuff, to sole trading out by yourself, your own clients, doing your own shit. Was that a build up of like did you set up to do that? Was that like obviously you said you waited till you sort of, or you didn't wait. Like if it came to a point where you resented a job, you wanted to bail.
I think
Like it was obviously always in the back of your mind to go out and do your own thing. So
I think working for myself had been in the back of my mind for a long, long time, and I had people around
why
me.
is that?
I think the end goal for so many people is to be your own boss, right? Mm-hmm. I had this grand plan that I was going to dictate my lifestyle and have this crazy good work-life balance where I fucking went fishing when I wanted to go fishing, and I worked when I wanted to go to work, or I'd work when money was running low and I'd earn the quid, and I just fucking I fuck that up because it's not like that. The mundaneness of a 9 to 5, God, it seems beautiful now, but I guess at the same time, nothing was fulfilling as filling my own cup, you know. So, and I don't work just for the monetary value of working. I do a lot of the stuff that I do because I actually do really enjoy it. But at the same time, it's crazy to think the stuff that I appreciate so much that I do, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10 becomes a passion project that I'm doing for free, which in turn as a business owner is nothing but an expense to me. But I guess it is also what keeps me going, because you have to fill your own cup up, because you can't pour from an empty one as well. So I can't push the creative process to any paying client if I have no creative source left inside me, you know. So I've got to do these things that, yes, are an expense to me and my time, but they keep me going and they keep me loving what I do as well. So I find when I get to a point as a creative where I feel dry and I fucking want to get a job at Bunnings so I can have 40 hours a week selling plants that I know nothing about, but I feel like that's where I belong, is the plant section at Bunnings if I was to work there, because I know nothing about power tools.
I can see you as a barbecue man. Like I know they're not Bunnings staff, but I could. See
we just spent 5 days with some of the best chefs in Australia. I reckon I can probably cook up a storm right now. But I got about 48 hours left of it being in my brain.
Yeah,
and then it's gone, and I'm back to steak and salad 7 nights a week that I get judged for because apparently that's not healthy. But it's got meat, it's got greens, so it's got to be good for me.
It's better than fucking McDonald's and whatever else.
But yeah, I mean, I think everyone's got something that makes them tick. Nothing satisfies me more than doing something that I enjoy doing, and I think that's what sort of spun me round right to focusing so much time in the back end of my year towards weddings, because it was so weird. One day the realization came that I was editing a wedding set that I'd shot for a client, and I was looking at them smile and I was smiling, and I'd caught myself smiling at what I was looking at in front of me, and I just went, well, fuck. If that's not kind of self-enjoyment, I don't know what is.
Because it's a pretty beautiful day, really. Like
it is. And I mean, I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about capturing exactly the essence of that couple as well. You know, I find out a lot about them before I go and shoot it, so I can involve myself with them as much as I can. And I'm often complimented about how much they enjoy me being there, because I still shoot pretty fast and loose. If there's beers, I'm drinking beers. If there's champagne, I'm drinking champagne. You know, I'm sometimes I'm dressed nice enough to be part of the wedding party.
Yeah.
So I just kind of slip straight on in there and sort of go under the radar and go unnoticed until it's go time. So
yeah,
that's a massive passion of mine, and I think that's definitely something, again, referring back to filling your own cup, is they're like little boosters for me to keep doing what I do, I guess. Because there's only so much sort of mundane shit you can do on a day-to-day life, which is why I think so many people get sick of a 9 to 5. And that's when you start seeking what can you do to get out of that, and what can you seek outside of that as well.
Well, I guess weddings, man, like no two weddings are the same.
Never.
Really.
And no two people are ever the same as well. Like that's, when you meet someone and then 3 days after if you see them for 3 days in a row, they look different after 3 days.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that sort of shit works, you know?
Yep.
And I think being versatile as a business owner, not saying I'm super versatile, but I have the opportunity or the ability to virtually split my business 50-50 down the middle and do the commercial corporate stuff and business profiling, most importantly, the fishing and the boating stuff, but then put on a nice shirt and be the guy who shoots weddings. And like I think it's a pretty cool thing for me to do as well. And it works. So I was shooting weddings. I was working a full-time week, only, doing the standard kind of 45 to 50 hour week, but then shooting weddings back to back on the weekends and then editing every night. I'd come home and I kind of went, well, if I'm doing 70 hours a week now when I'm in peak wedding season, why don't I do 70 hours a week for myself? And that's exactly where it ended up. I think the first 2 years of business, I think the average, obviously you build processes and things get faster, but I was sort of really just finding out the hard way how it all works. So the first 2 years of business, I was really doing 70 to 90 hour weeks, which is fucking horrible. But
that's huge. Massive.
Yeah. And my biggest focus for this year, 2022, is to work less. Because I think there's a very real thing that's a creative burnout, or just a burnout in general. I mean, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
So
I've experienced it firsthand.
Yeah,
it's fucking not nice.
And that's the thing. I know people that have worked within the marine industry that have also had it happen. Not a creative burnout, but a work burnout, and it's debilitating to the point that they remove themselves from that industry altogether and find peace somewhere else.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate because you start off so passionate about something, which is why you're there in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, what was your first wedding that you shot? So, did it come after, like a long time after you went out by yourself, or did you?
No. So, I was shooting weddings while I was still employed at the skateboarding store. I think.
Also, way early on.
Yeah, and I think how
how did you get your first wedding?
It was just, hey, we know you own a camera. Do you want to take photos at our wedding? And I went, oh, but I'll give it a red hot go. And
okay. So like a customer from the skate store.
I think it might have actually even been a staff member. I think word of mouth has taken me a long way, which I appreciate everyone in my life so much for, because that's like, I can't thank people I know enough, because they're the people that actually have gotten me the work. Like it's not so much about what I'm doing. It's what people are telling people I do or what I'm doing, you know? So I think it's actually so cool. And so I wouldn't like, I don't know if overwhelming is a word, but I'm pretty passionate about fucking how much my mates care about me. Like it makes me pretty happy to know people are willing to put my name in front of people, knowing that their reputation's at risk as well.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just so awesome. Like it really is awesome. And the same thing, mate, you got me on this job that we just done side by side for the last 5 days. And all I come out of that is, I hope you learnt something from me, and that I learnt something from you, and then both our businesses can benefit from molding together. Because that's what it is. We may technically, we're competition, because you do what I do, but at the same time, I'd rather help you grow as a business and you help me grow as a business than us compete with each other.
Yeah, there's a level of respect, man, and it's like staying in your lane and like just having respect for the industry in itself, like.
Exactly.
Because people break an industry by that, like being super competitive and like it's just my way or the highway, and you end up like driving market price down. Like it just ends up fucked.
Well, I think that massively is what it is, you know, I remember having a conversation with a lad named Andrew, who back in the day ran SEQFA, and he actually approached me and said, "Hey mate, I'm interested to know what your day rate is for filming." And I went, well, that's a very confronting question. But the reason behind it was we were trying to monetize what a day rate was for a content creator within the fishing and marine industry. So there wasn't any far-fetched pricing that was too much or there was too low. Because obviously the guy who's got the cheapest price is the guy who gets the most work. So one thing I learnt working in this industry was voiceover artists work off the same rate card. Whether you have a mouth made of gold or a mouth made of dog shit, you get paid the same to record a voiceover for any business of any scale and any size. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. But it also is capped earnings on the work that you're doing. So it's a very touch and go subject as to how much should someone charge a day for how experienced they are, or how much they should charge for how inexperienced they are. But mate, I'll let anyone get in there and have a crack if they're willing to do it, you know. I think if anyone's thinking about it and kind of going, oh fuck, like, do I charge top dollar, or am I not good at this, so I got to come in super cheap and devalue what I personally think I'm worth? I think the best thing a person can do that's at that point should just ask someone who's already doing it.
Yep.
Instead of pissing in the wind, like, don't go, fuck, I'll do it for $300 because you feel like you're only worth $300. Like, find out what other people are doing within that space.
Yeah. So I've got a question. This has been in my head for a little while. So there's, my opinion, the wrong way to do it, which is trade money for time.
Mm-hmm.
How does someone look at a job and price it to actually benefit themselves long term, not just trade money for time?
Yeah. So, like you said, money for time, again, is something... Money for time is how I ran
cycle.
my business for a long time, because that's the way I looked at it. Because I think the general human, or the general working human, is trading their money for time. They're working for an hourly rate.
Yep.
So you are worth $37.20 an hour.
Yeah.
And that's... You go, holy fuck, I'm only worth that. So what happens in your next job? Are you worth more, or are you doing a different role so you're worth less? It's a really weird one, and with what we do, I started to try and formulate on project prices as opposed to... Yep. I never really work on an hourly rate. One, because when you tell someone an hourly rate, they go, holy fuck, why is it so expensive? And you go, well, it's not expensive. And then you don't want to ever have to have that back and forth with a client.
Yeah.
So project prices is the easiest thing for someone to swallow, because you can actually explain to them, I have X amount of gear I need to use. I need travel. I need my time. I need my time editing, and everything should virtually be bundled into one thing. That if you then divided it to an hourly rate, you probably only get paid $3.80 an hour anyway. So it's a pretty. It hurts to break down the maths and do the maths on that thing sometimes, but you know some jobs are better than others with it for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can work off a regulated day rate that you're comfortable with, it's covering your expenses while you're also making money to pay other expenses. I think that's where you got to start to sort of aim. And this is one thing that I think has completely, like I like cars. I'd love to photograph cars, but there's kids out there. When I say kids, I'm saying they are in that age range of 17 to 25. So yes, they are also adults, but they're not smart adults because they're shooting cars for anywhere from $50 to $150, which drives the price down.
The market, yeah. The
Automotive photography is in high demand because there's so many dudes out there that do up cars, and they're doing them up so they can have nice photos of them to put on their Instagram, and will openly admit they have a car so they can publicly put it in front of people to go, holy shit, look how cool my car is. But yeah, there's people out there that do it for so cheap, and you ask them the question as to why is it so cheap, and they go, well, my setup cost me $3,000. I still live at home with my mum. If I can do 5 car shoots a week, everything I have is paid for. And you go, huh, okay.
Yeah.
And they go and shoot 7-8 car shoots a week at $50 a piece. That covers all their overheads. Whereas if I was to try and do that, I may as well pay the guys that I'm photographing.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to come and pick me up because I can't put fuel in my car.
And it's that short-sightedness, man, because you're not fucking 17 forever and you're not living with your parents forever. And you're not going to... If you're actually committed, like we're disregarding all the hobbyists here that just do it part-time. If you want to make something of yourself in that industry...
Yeah.
You're not going to have that $3,000 setup forever. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. And I think the first... I don't know why it bugged me so bad, but I took it upon myself to reach out to one of the offenders of flash sale weekend car shoots. And his response was, well, fuck, you just put that into perspective for me. And what I said to him was, hey, if you keep shooting cars for $50, what happens on the weekend when you want to make it $150? And he went, well, what do you mean? I said, would people still buy it off you? And he said, no.
There you go.
He set himself as a $50 photographer. He can never be a $150 photographer until he branches into a new network of humans. So, or something miraculously changes with him or his equipment. But his customer doesn't know what he's shooting with.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can't buy new equipment if you fucking earn
no.
$50
And
shoot.
that's exactly right. Business has got to be a long term thing, like you said.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a long goal. And Wade, you and I had this discussion in the car, and it came to fruition in my brain again today about where this industry going is. Like, where is it going? You know, there's a thing out there now called a metaverse, and people are selling fucking cartoons for ungodly amounts of money, and I don't understand any of it at all.
Me
and
neither.
If I had a spare 15 minutes, apparently you can watch a video and learn how to make heaps of money, but I don't have a spare 15 minutes to invest into it yet.
Fucking weird.
But like, where does it go? And it's a crazy business to be in, because nothing. To go out and make the stuff, nothing you use is cheap. It's much like fishing, you know.
What makes the difference, like everything we shot this week, just because I started in the game shooting, like anyone that understands, like 1080 in 8-bit, and then I recently upgraded my stuff, and now I shoot 4K in 10-bit, and just the quality of image is just amazing.
Worlds apart, and this is the thing that. Your client will probably never know the difference.
That's the problem.
But they might.
Yeah.
It definitely.
If you put two side by side,
though. Oh yeah, and look, and that's the biggest thing there as well. But that like the saying goes, is it a bad tradesman never blames his tools, or a good tradesman never blames bad tools? So that's the saying. Don't blame your tools. Like we, we kicked it on the couch here the other night. We watched new episodes of The Lateral Line where Milan and Nathan are filming their whole TV episode
fucking iPhones.
On an iPhone. And I look at it and go, I need to reevaluate what I'm going to do next year to fucking put food on my plate because
iPhone's on gimbals in cinema mode.
An iPhone with a microphone is looking pretty damn good at the moment.
I think it's because that short form, like raw media, has skyrocketed since TikTok. Hey,
well, and
COVID.
Well, on the backside of that, they reckon ADHD is skyrocketing as well because we're educating child brains into fucking their attention span only being 15 seconds.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you think about how addictive Instagram Reels are and TikToks are.
I deleted
good
TikTok.
luck. Good luck watching one.
Yeah.
If you watch one, you're gonna watch 10, and if you watch 10, you're fucked. You're in there. And, and you know, me and all the boys, we call it the vortechy. Once you're in the vortechy,
she's all over.
You're out when your arm goes numb or your phone dies. So good luck.
Yeah, it's good for a laugh and shit, but fuck me,
mate. It is. And as a PSA, there is a notification you can put on your phone that tells you when you've been on Instagram for 10 minutes, and it will tell you to get off your phone. So
highly recommend.
If you're unproductive or counterproductive by looking at the dumb thing that is your phone, turn that on, and it'll be a rude awakening how many times you get it in a day.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing I realized when I edit my work is if I don't have my phone with me in my office, I can do 8 hours of work in 3 hours, and it's a fucking amazing thing.
That was super apparent to me. Like that was one of the things I learned spending this week with you is how much I'm actually on my phone because you're not on yours, and I know you're not like super like active every day, every single day on socials, and I didn't notice until sort of you told me that I'm fucking guilty for it, which I am, and I noticed that you're not on your phone anywhere near as much, and the amount of work you get done, you just put music on, sit in your office and fucking get up it, and it's so much more productive. And then I reference myself like on previous jobs sitting in front of my computer, and I get in the zone. And then literally I look, a notification. And then I open my phone, fucks my whole flow. Whereas it should be just out on the counter outside in the kitchen somewhere and just the fuck away from me for a day.
So my biggest realization for that, and anyone who doesn't own them, I'm not endorsed by Apple. If the slim chance someone at Apple listens to this, please. I've spent way too much money with you. Help me out here. But AirPods became the best tool that I'd purchased. Now, the reason being was it stopped me avoiding phone calls from people I didn't speak to because my phone would never be on me, so I would just answer it. And I'd hear from people I hadn't heard from in a long time, which was great. I reconnected with people, which was fantastic. But what I noticed was when we talk about counterproductivity was if I was at my desk and I got a text, I'd read the text, I'd close my messages, and then I'd go Instagram, then I'd go Facebook, then I'd go Facebook Messenger, and then I'd go, holy fuck, 25 minutes. That was that.
Yep.
So I'd put my phone face down again, and then I'd get another text because I get the reply from the text I just sent, stupidly enough. And what does my brain do? It puts me straight back into that cycle. So I was checking a text and then bumping through my socials. And when I say going through my socials, I don't even know why because I wasn't posting stuff. My personal Instagram page is not very active. And the reason being is I struggle to find time because one thing that I do for my job is I run other people's social media platforms as well. So it's a hard thing for me to do. And across, 7 to 8 platforms, it becomes a hard thing for me to do especially. So that was the first thing I noticed was AirPods gave me the ability to answer a phone call and then not have a phone to look at when I hung up that phone call. So my phone, I try and put at least 10 steps away from where I'm working at any given time. I don't keep it on silent because sometimes important things do happen while I'm working. But if I have to get up to go and look at my phone, at least I've registered that I need to then put it down and walk straight back to where I'm working. And I'm a big advocate for stretching as much as I possibly can when I work as well. So I actually try and stand up every 10 minutes when I edit. So I stand up, I look at something a little bit further away than my computer screen to stretch my eyes. I stretch my hands and I kind of probably just do like a basic back or hamstring stretch and I sit back down again. So that's 45 seconds I've taken away from my chair and my editing instead of 25 minutes every time I look at my phone.
And it's actually beneficial to you. So you're probably going to be able to edit for longer or be in the zone for longer.
And then at the same time, if I know if I know it's a full day of editing, I actually set alarms in increments. So I set an alarm for my first coffee, which I walk to get, so I'm outside and get some sun before I bleach my skin with a computer screen. And I set an alarm for my second coffee. I set an alarm for morning tea. I set an alarm for lunch. and then I set an alarm for when I need to get up and go to the gym. And those are my treats. Getting away from my desk is my treat.
Yep.
And I even got to a point where I had a set of dumbbells in my room, and when my computer renders, which can take anywhere from 2 minutes to sometimes 20 minutes on a large scale project for rendering, instead of going on my phone, I do push-ups and bicep curls.
Yep.
Now, nothing changed on my body, unfortunately, doing that. So that formulated plan of getting buff while editing didn't work. So for anyone out there, it's not worth it. Just stretch. But I think that was the biggest thing. And then you'd let your phone be a treat, because I think regardless of how much you say you aren't, I think everyone's stimulated by social media. It's good. There's funny stuff, there's sad stuff, but I think it does help stimulate the brain, and I think that's what attracts so many people to it so often.
And creativity as well.
Well,
exactly. In our field, yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes that might be the spark of inspiration you need, is seeing someone else's product and going, fuck, that gives me a great idea for what I'm about to roll back into when I sit down and edit or do a photo set or something like that as well. But I think you got to formulate a plan that best works for you. And if you're trying to knuckle down on work, I think the best thing you can do is set up a reward system. So
yeah,
I'm a massive, massive believer in writing down a list every day. My brain absorbs information better if I write it than if I watch it or listen to it. And even when I'm listening to, no offense, but even when I'm listening to a podcast, I often find my mind wander. And that's because I start thinking of something else and get sent on this fucking wild tangent for no reason.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It provokes thought,
and I think it's just I just have an active brain, like a really, really active mind, and
you're on the spectrum for sure.
Yeah,
same as me.
It could be ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD, but no sensory issues or stuff like that. But I just have a very, very, very active mind, and
that was one of the first things I noticed.
Yeah,
is because I'm very similar. When I sit, I fidget.
Yeah,
in one way or another. I'm right now. I just rubbing my nose for no reason. My nose isn't even itchy. And I've noticed, the first thing I noticed is that you do it too. Yeah.
So massive fidgeter. So when I first visited my dietitian, he was like, "You're very, very." I think alert was a nice way for him to put that I was fucking crazy. I speak fast. I have erratic actions, and I do things really quickly, which unfortunately some people think it comes across aggressive. But I'm a fast mover, so, and a fast drinker. That's what that is, Yeah. So weirdly, through good foods and focusing on different things, I've managed to have a pretty big switch up in my mindset and lifestyle over, kind of since December. As I had this crazy, I just had a crazy awakening where I just went, wow, I just ground my ass into the ground for a whole year. And I had nothing to show for it. I'm not super materialistic. I didn't want flash watches and fucking crazy travel and stuff like that. But I worked super, super hard. And at the end of the year, I went, fuck, where is everything? I was expecting something, but what I was doing, I was working to live. That's what we all do, There was no pot of gold on January 1st that proved that I fucking worked my ass off. So I'd sort of thought about it, and I went, I'm going to come into the year. It wasn't a New Year's resolution. I actually started in Feb because I didn't want to be the guy to start in Jan. But I started to implement small lifestyle changes throughout the month of January, which helped me, which was things like cold showers. I meditate every night before bed, which just assists with mental clarity and makes sleep unbelievable. Yep. So I think the biggest thing I lacked in my whole life was the ability to have a good night's sleep. And, the past couple of days we've been away working massive days. I haven't been eating how I'd normally eat, and I'm not in my bed, and I'm on a fucking bed with 65 pillows, and not one of them is comfortable. But they're probably huge. All more expensive than anything I own.
Man, they're all huge.
So I'm just on this, a mental flatness, and the most exciting thing about this whole thing is I get to come back and find rhythm again, which I think is so imperative to to life is to find what works for you, and if it does, stick to it. And if something's not working for you, you have to fucking change it.
Yeah.
You can't pretend like it's going to get better, or you can't pretend like, oh, you'll slowly adapt and to this shitty lifestyle and everything's going to come easy. You need to fix it straight away.
Yeah.
And small lifestyle changes and adjustments go a very, very long way.
Yeah.
Like, such a long way. And I think you can draw inspiration from so many places about what other people are doing to assist in their quality of life. And I think if you're really high strung like I was, which I've seen someone that has told me I'm overly alert and I'm very high strung, which is why I react so quickly. It's because I don't switch off, which is why when I fatigue very heavily.
Yeah, man.
But since building a better relationship with sleep, my quality of life has been so much better. And I've actually had a client say to me, hey, what's changed? Because you're so much more relaxed throughout the day. And I was like, fuck, that means I didn't say anything to them, but it means the world to me, because I know small lifestyle shifts and adjustments have actually changed how I present myself.
Small percentages stack, man.
Yeah, and that might be the 1% that I needed was to have the ability to wind down and relax properly at the end of a day. And I think the biggest thing that kept me switched on all day was I work all day. My break is I run my dog, I go to the gym, I cook dinner, I have a shower, and I sit back in my computer chair and I work until I'm ready to go to bed. So I set the rule that I would never work past 10 p.m. at any given night anymore, regardless of how close I was to finishing or who the client was, because I was number one.
100%.
Always, and that's how it's going to stay. And my biggest goal for this year is to actually not work outside of trading hours, if that makes any sense. So unfortunately, it means I work less unless I scale my business with more staff, which if anyone out there wants a job editing, have I fucking got a treat for you? Send me an email. I don't even need a resume. Just send me an email. I got heaps of work if anyone needs it. But yeah, like I don't know. This isn't a podcast about how to change your life, but this is me. I've been in some very, very, very shit situations in my life that create lifestyle change. And I think, like you said, it's the small percentile things you do. Like, just aim for better.
One simple thing every day.
Exactly right.
One simple improvement.
And then formulate routines. So, you know, like I said, I didn't start this try and find a new life in January as a New Year's resolution. But what I did to start piloting me trying to shift that stuff in Jan was I got up at the same time every day for the whole month, and then I would read 15 pages of a book before I cooked my breakfast, which I haven't read a book since fucking Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. If that's a correct title, that was the one I read.
That's number one, man.
And I was probably at that age, I was probably fucking incapable of reading anyway. So I probably looked at the pictures it doesn't have. But, you know, it had been a long time, and I think it was good. Like I said before, I absorb information if I write it down. And what I found was I started absorbing information better if I read it. So I set this little goal is if I would read 15 pages of that book while I was cooking my breakfast, I'd try and think about things that I'd read in those 15 pages to make sure I was actually absorbing the information. Yep. So good for cognitive, like just my brain.
Yeah.
And just to reverse that whole thing, what the 15 pages of that book was doing was I banned myself from using my phone from the first hour that I woke up.
Yep.
And holy shit.
That's a big rule of mine, man. Have you like read or researched anything on like brain states? It's like alpha.
No, but I know if you fucking open Facebook in the morning as soon as you wake up and you see something shit, your day's ruined.
Yep.
So why do it?
So there's like a priming stage of your brain. Andrew Huberman is the fucking guy to sus. He's got an epic podcast and on Instagram. So there's a priming stage of your brain, alpha state, and it's when you're like basically your mind is priming. So that's the time to get up, have your cold shower, read or stretch or go and get sunlight, move fasted cardio, all that sort of stuff, and consume energy, so food, eat a good breakfast and all that sort of stuff, and then pick up your phone if you're going to pick your phone up, because then you charge for beta state. Whereas if you wake up, grab your phone, you automatically you skip that part.
Oh, and I'll back that 200%, because if I got in this weird thing where while I was still in my bed, I'd check my emails. It takes one email to fuck your whole day. One. You get one email from the wrong person, you even see their name.
You don't even have to read it out, yeah.
You even see their name and you just sink and you go, I don't even want to get out of bed.
Yep.
So I'm a massive believer now in moving in the morning. I tried training in the mornings and I just can't do it I can't train unless I've eaten all day. I'm a pig. Like I need fuel. That's why I'm a fat buff guy. As I've been referenced before, I'm just a fat buff guy. I got a fucking beer belly and half a muscle. That's
big lats.
That's all I got going on. So I made a conscious effort to walk to get my coffee every day, unless it was raining, of course. If it was raining, I'd have no coffee until I needed to drive to my first job. So that morning walk, like I get up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and AirPods are in, and I listen to the same song every day walking to the coffee shop. That could be a problem. Now that could be like a weird, like a mental thing that are going on, but I have a song that just for some reason makes me appreciate what the day could bring.
Yep.
And
what are you led? Can you say what it is?
It's actually weirdly enough, it's a song about someone who's fucking horrendously affected by drugs, and that's not me in any way, shape, or form. But I think the way that I resonate with it is because that's who I never want to be.
Yeah, yep, that makes sense.
And the song is about him reverting back into addiction. So I guess it sort of does make sense as someone who's trying to progress forward in life in general. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And it's on the basis of I don't fucking want to binge drink anymore. So unfortunately, I've had to pull myself away from people that love binge drinking because you don't want to hang around toxicity.
Yeah.
Let's
touch on that actually, because I noticed like I have, and I feel bad. I partially feel bad for some of it, and for some of it, the other part of it, I couldn't be fucked. Loss of friends, acquaintances, groups. Like I used to have a really broad range. I still do have many, many friends and many people that I still talk to. But there's like literally like the other day, Tyson Palmer messaged me and he's like, "Man, take a day off, come up, and we'll go fishing and shit." And I literally like, I really, really wanted to, but I couldn't because I was so busy. And it's just consistently like that. And it's normally with like my close friends, and you end up feeling like a fucking really shit human because I feel like you prioritize that. I feel like it looks like you prioritize the growth of your business, and it looks like you're chasing money and all that and success and all that shit. When really you're prioritizing, for me anyway, really prioritizing self-growth.
Yeah, but I think if a friend can't appreciate you trying to grow, it'll be better they're not your mate.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I realize when I do things and I stop drinking or partaking in fucking that lifestyle, my phone pretty much stops ringing. And it's not sad, but it's weird. You know what I mean? Like it is really weird, and it's like there's an on and off switch to a specific group of friends in a circle. You know what I mean?
I feel like most of the time it's not because they like oh fuck that guy, he doesn't drink with us no more. I think it's just like
I'm happy for them to just go, hey, let's not call him because we know we're going out fucking drinking. Like that's sweet. I'll think of it that way, and there's no harm done. But at the same time, it's like, was I just like I don't know. Is it just, can you only have fun with me when I'm fucking trolleyed?
I went down that rabbit hole not long ago actually.
And I love drinking, don't get me wrong, but it's got to happen in moderation.
Yeah. Well, I went down that rabbit hole like, and was like in my own head saying like, fuck me. Was I just nothing and all that sort of shit? Was I just a number basically? But then I was like, I forced myself to think that that's not actually the case. I think it's just dissimilar interests now.
Yeah.
So like you just gradually.
I think you can grow out of friend circles.
Yeah.
I think you can grow out of friends.
I think that, yeah. I think like you may not remain friends, but there's still that level of respect.
I think you always will remain friends, but it's on a different level.
100%.
So
as long as there's respect for
at least it doesn't go to that point where you see someone you know and they know you and you both look at each other and there's a weird
that's fucked.
That
up.
weird look. I can't deal with that. That one breaks my fucking brain because do you say hello? Do you not say hello? I usually alleviate confrontation, just turn and walk the other way, even though it's probably the wrong way. But that's the weird one when you look at someone and you know them and they know you and then you don't know what to do. So there's like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
That. I don't want any of that with any of my mates ever. But I think like I say, when you grow out of a friend circle, I think you're just evolving. And if people, and it's never to say in any way, shape or form would I be better than someone I'm friends with because I've slowed up on my drinking, but it's just your lifestyle or your habits change between the pair of you. So you're not as uniformed anymore. You know what I mean? Everyone meet at 6:30 on a Friday at the pub's gone, unless you go to the pub and have dinner.
Yeah.
Or something. It's a fucking weird one.
Yeah.
And and I don't think it's a place that friendships go to die, but I think things just slow down.
Yeah. I've become more comfortable with it. Like at the start.
I've adapted to it because I try and do this stuff. Like it's weird. I kind of do it every year, never at the same time, but there's always a point where I go, fuck, I need to woo up and just chill out for a while, and I focus on my health. And every year I go, fuck, I need this is probably what I need to do, and I've set a goal for myself to be the fittest and healthiest I've been in my life before I turn 30. So I've got this illustrious plan to be in the best shape of my life when I turn 30 because that's when it's the hardest. Yeah. So, and that's what it is. Working with people, they go, fuck, mate, wait till you're 30. Wait till you're 30. Wait till you're 30.
I think 30's still young as fuck.
I think 30's...
I didn't have a year 30 crisis. It didn't. I felt no fucking different.
Look, mate, fucking no one will know when I turn 30. I'm not having a party. That shit's going under the radar, man. I don't want a 3 in front of my name. Fucking, it's not happening. So, it's a scary thought. But
as in
30s fucking feels better than 50, right?
Man, fuck, it has to.
But like 50s feels better than 60. I think you just if your quality of life's there, just fucking rip in and do it, eh?
What I think is epic about you is you found this so early. Like you're mature beyond your age. Like it took me to hit like I reckon 20, 25, maybe later than 25 to be like, I need to do something else.
Yep.
Or I need to fucking sort my shit out. And then that's when I started like self-analyzing and focusing on mindset and then starting to learn, like research and listen to podcasts and like gather all this information. But it's taken me, and obviously you never stop learning, but it took me like 2 or 3 years on top of that to find exactly where I need to be, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like it's normal. But I think it's really cool that you picked that shit up like way early on. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to lead into was, I feel like people compare themselves to people so much. So, but I feel like your own journey from the day you're born basically is different to every single other cunts. So I can't say like, oh, you've succeeded, like you've done all this stuff by 29. Yeah. And I've only done this by 30.
Oh,
because it's not comparable.
No way in the world.
It's not comparable.
Like, going right back to what made me sort of make the hard decision to follow this sort of path is I never thought I was capable, but I had people push me in the right direction. So, ironically, Mick Guthrie was probably one of my biggest supporters ever in me doing this for myself. Mm-hmm. And that's a massive shout out to Mick because he said, fucking hurry up and do it. Hurry up and do it. Hurry up and do it. And I did it and it worked. And Nick Richardson from Tide Apparel, like, mate, he gave me the biggest opportunity of my life to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and when I want to do it. And Like, bro, for my whole life, I'll be grateful for that. Like, it means so much to me. And he continues to do it now. And so does Mick. Like, I caught up with Mick 2 weeks ago. He came to pick up a lens I borrowed off him in about fucking 2001. Like, this thing had sat in my cupboard for fucking, oh my God, it would just, it got old that it somehow couldn't align that, hey man, come and pick up this lens.
Yeah.
And then I think when he figured out it was of no monetary value anymore, I think the desire for him to pick it up also disappeared. But weirdly, I cleaned out my camera cupboard and I found a box of lures and terminals, which was worth a good bounty. So he was over here to pick it up. And mate, Mick says, mate, he said, I'm proud of you. And that's fucking, you know, I reckon I've heard that from my dad twice.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, you know. Like my nan is probably my biggest supporter, you know, and she lives in Adelaide, so she doesn't even know what the fuck I'm doing. But she still says she's proud, and I think for me that's more fulfilling than any job I've ever done is to do someone proud, you know. That's a very meaningful thing to me.
Fucking oath it is, man. And it's pride in yourself. And it's wanting people to be proud of you that you actually really truly care about.
Yeah,
like family's huge, man. Like I'm super sad that my old man passed away a couple of years ago because he would be frothing the shit I'm doing, and I wasn't doing it when he was alive. I was dabbling, and I just started my journey basically. But then, I really wish that he was still alive now because he'd be frothing. Like, to be honest, he'd be fucking driving me mad because he'd be wanting to come on all these trips and all this cool shit I'm doing.
Oh, it'd be such a cool thing to share with your old boy as well, though, you know. Like, my dad's a musician and I have never photographed him playing music and I've never filmed him playing music, which to me still makes no sense. And I think one thing hit home was I went on a date with a chick and she was like, oh, you're a photographer. Fuck, you must have the most amazing family photos.
Yeah.
And I went, fuck. No.
That shit hits hard.
So in my whole life, I've got a 15-year-old sister and a 32-year-old sister. And in my whole life, I have one photo of them two with my mum that I've taken on my camera, which is fucking insane because I have a tool that can freeze moments in time that would probably go unnoticed, but if they were actually documented, they wouldn't be forgotten. You know what I mean? So I need that. You know, that's a thing. It's a thing I need to make a conscious effort for. Is actually spending the time to do that. And what I find myself is my dog lives with my mum. I go to my mum's house every day. I'm there. I take fucking 45 photos of my dog. And the reason why I take so many photos of my dog is because he's getting old, and that's a weird thing in itself because so is my mum. My sister's aging every day, and so is my other sister and my two nephews, and it's really like it's weird, you know. Like, I think embrace time you spend with fucking everyone.
100%, man, and be open, like, absorb what's happening. I reckon, like, actually, don't just like be present. Be present is what I'm trying to say,
that, mate, and that's why. You told me you do dinners at your house where you're not allowed to sit down, you stand, so you walk around.
Yeah.
Fucking best thing ever.
Yeah.
Talk about being present. Like, man, if you're at a table, if there's 10 of you seated at a table, the person you want to talk to is
at the other end,
4 meters away, so you don't talk to them.
Yeah, and you feel like you can't get up because you're like, it's that awkward thing. You're that one guy that stands up.
And when I shoot, like, weirdly to bring work related back into this, when I shoot a wedding that is cocktail themed, which means standing at round tables where people walk around canapes.
Yep.
The food's nowhere near as good, but everyone gets way more drunk because they eat less. So there's way more mingling in it. And the vibe is so much better. So the room is so loud.
Yeah.
When it's seated at a table, it's only loud because it's people talking over each other. Yeah. And that's all it ever is going to be. So pro tip, if you're getting married and want nice photos and video, cocktails.
Yeah.
Probably going to cost you less as well.
Very true.
Because you don't have to dress gigantic tables.
I wonder if that had happened at this venue we shot at.
Probably not a chance. I feel like that venue, you'll get a chair because you're paying a lot of money to sit on the chair.
Yeah, fuck.
And they only have expensive chairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, even to revert back to that and touch on that. So Wade, Will, and I just did a project at a very, very, very established estate in the Currumbin Valley, and it was a massive eye opener. It's the nicest place I've probably ever been to, and I've shot some very, very, very cool wedding venues. And the opportunity we were given to document 5 of Australia's best chefs foraging, hunting, and collecting their own food to feed in excess of 70 people. So we fished, we hunted, we picked mangoes and berries and trees I didn't know you could eat.
Literally weeds, man.
Weeds. There was weeds.
Yeah, fucking flowers that taste like garlic.
Not the weed you're all thinking of, but there was weeds. I'm pretty sure someone ate bark.
Mushrooms. Not even magic mushies, just mushies.
I think the biggest takeaway from that is to open your eyes to your surroundings. So absorb as much information as you can anywhere you go, because I guess so much stuff goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
And
sorry, you are?
No, I think that's it. So much stuff goes unnoticed.
It does, man. Like I'll dive in here. Like this job came across to me through the business page, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it, regardless of what went on. So my background with Macka is like we've never properly met until this week.
Yeah, so this was the first time I'd ever met Wade, and in the silence of the background is also young William.
He's in there grinding.
Who's working right now while we drink a Shiraz and fucking dribble into microphones. But that was the first time I met both these guys, and I welcomed him into my home, and I drove him to the coast, and I work with them.
Yeah.
And Wade will tell you the rest.
Yeah, it was really, really, like, this job was, I never expected to even get a request for a job like this. Got the brief and I was like, fuck yes, I'm doing it regardless of how it's going to work. But I've hey?
We were out fishing when you got the request.
Actually, that's what we were. We were chasing golden trevally on the flats. Weren't we?
I think we were coming back from a JP hike.
Oh, that's what it was. That was later on. Yeah, so, sorry, where did I get to? Yeah, so I've spoke to Andy for a fair while, on and off, and he's been, in all honesty, like, he's been a huge mentor of mine. Just sharing knowledge and helping me with stuff and just chatting in general about business and mindset and lifestyle, camera gear, all that sort of shit. So mad respect there. So I was like, fuck, this is Andy's jam. And to be honest, I have like a little bit of regrets. Like, to be honest, it should have been Andy's job, and I should have come on as a lackey, because it's something that was way, like, I feel like I could have done it, like, not out of my league, but I feel like I would have struggled a lot more than what we did. So basically, I invited Andy to come and teach me pretty much and help, and I learned so much that in 1 week, this 1 week has fast tracked me years. One with knowledge of how to film things like this.
That's because I spent years learning it.
Yeah.
the hard way.
The hard way. And that's why I
But I'm an open book, mate. As I said, anyone who wants to find out, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If there's someone listening that hasn't filmed something and wants to have a crack, I've got enough cameras to lend you one. You can come and stand within 1.5 meters of me.
But don't follow you around.
1.5 meters of me. If I hear you fucking breathe, you're gone. But I'm open to help anyone. So
yeah,
for anyone who is interested in trying to learn how to film something, fucking rip in. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think
many hands make light work, and I got a lot of bags.
It did. It was a really, really cool week. I just learned so much from everybody, because the guys we work with and filmed were 5 like top class chefs. A couple of them were world renowned.
I don't think I've been put in a situation work wise where the gelling has been that easy.
Man, it was
these
insane.
Dudes were fucking legends. Like, they were all the boys.
If you didn't see their resume, you would have just thought they were just lads.
they were the boys, and when it came crunch time in the kitchen, Birkenstocks and socks come on, which I highly despise of. Like,
They were those good Birkies though, the closed toe ones.
if you wear Birkenstocks, you're not allowed to come on one of my jobs.
Macca's off you.
But they were, yeah, it was, mate, it was probably the coolest thing I'd ever seen is 5 like-minded people that are so competent in their craft come together, make a fucking plan out of what we caught, which was hardly anything.
Yeah. But it was so easy, man. Like, you think like world-class chefs, high-class kitchen, like high-pressure environment, man. They were really chill, really accommodating, and they helped, like, one of the chefs, I don't even know if we're allowed to say names, but I'll just keep it hush for now, but one of the chefs was watching me film and understood what shot I was trying to get and would manipulate the scene so I could capture the shot, which I thought was absolutely amazing. They were super savvy with all of that sort of like production and
So they
like media.
wasn't their first rodeo.
Nah.
So nothing was hard, nothing was too much of an ask, and I guess at a production level we were kissed on the dick with capability.
Man, it was
because
insane.
that's everything had so much fluidity in the whole job in itself.
Yeah.
The hardest part is for Wade and Will is going to be what do they use, because it all came very easy except for the actual fishing and what have you itself. So
How do we tell the story?
how do you tell the story of failure but still miraculously feed 70, 80 people? And these dudes, you know, you ask them the question, is it stressful to cook for this many people? And not one person said yes. It was a walk in the fucking park.
It was an easy night.
Like, it was a walk in the park.
Yeah.
They were drinking, like, I think second course they had bubbly. So champagne to celebrate the fact that it was all happening.
Yeah.
And just, that's what it was like. It was like standing in a room with a gigantic stainless bench with 5 of the boys.
Yeah.
Just doing their thing.
And they stayed with us but we actually got very well looked after. We rolled into the estate. We had a house to ourselves, ensuite in every bathroom, the most amazing
Just to
beds.
reiterate, it's called an estate. Just for anyone. It's an estate.
Yeah, proper.
Which is, I think that's one above hotel, right?
I think so. Man, it has
I think
to
it
work.
goes hotel, estate, palace.
Yeah. I think that's about right. It was hectic. And the boys stayed with us for a couple of nights, which was really cool just to sit down there with them and like talk to them as real human beings. I learned so much from them as fucking hell. As like because they've made such a success of themselves in business and in their own little industry. Just sitting there listening to them talk, you learn so much. So I gained so much knowledge in such a short amount of time just from being around people that have succeeded already and that are willing to share and be honest and open with you. So yeah, this week's been absolutely amazing. I've learned so much, like especially in the filming stuff, man. You fast-tracked me years. Absolutely years. It's been fucking hectic.
I lost years of my life.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I
think every job I age, so fuck, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I think like I said in the car ride home, like there's not many things you can walk into, and whether they're gonna work or not, it works. Like, it was incredibly enjoyable. Like, I think every aspect of it was fucking fantastic. And I think when you work with people who are unbelievably good at their craft, it honestly is easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think...
and like you said, it wasn't their first time. So they can pick up on what you're trying to put down. So things just come together with so much fluidity. Like, it's just... It really was an easy thing for them to do as well.
Yeah. And I think because of the fact that they gelled with us as well, like they felt super comfortable and they weren't like in this clinical environment where there's just like the production crew just walk around and like everything's so sterile and stand here, do this, do this, do this. It was
I think
super natural, man.
It was natural. It was fast and loose. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. There was no second takes. And that's, to be honest with you, that's how I film everything that I film.
Yeah.
And it's how I shoot everything I shoot. The only time I direct something when I'm photographing at a wedding is when I'm doing portraits on location. And it's because sometimes you'll get clients that are a little bit disjointed and they might not be super into PDA. So
Yeah.
they don't want to stand too close. So what you've got to do is you've got to formulate a way for them to present well
Yeah.
in a way that they're comfortable. So you find out their boundaries and limitations, and then you work around them.
And we did that.
Yeah, and mate, the best part about it was these dudes, their boundaries were, we're used to being filmed.
Yeah.
Just do what you have to do, and we work around you. So,
Yep.
To the point where they're sort of they were working around me in a kitchen space, whereas I should have really been working around them because that's how it works. So
Yeah, they were happy to the
most accommodating group of people I've ever met.
Yeah,
So and
easy.
I think outside of work, I'd like to, as much as I made jokes about it with them yesterday, is as much as I reckon we just made fucking 5 mates as well.
Basically,
that we can leverage off. Will's already scored himself a fucking table at a Flash
he
restaurant.
did, man. That was hectic.
So Wade and I had to feed ourselves tonight.
Yeah.
Will got a nice table at a restaurant in the fanciest part of Brisbane with his family. Where we fucking
ate Mega Ring.
had Serena canned tuna. my 65th bag of leafy mix this week.
No more leafy mix, man. There's 4 half full bags in there,
So yeah, my fridge is just leafy mix and eggs.
and underripe avocados.
And grapes that have been left on my bench for a week. So
I'm
Wade's a serial grape ruiner. Don't leave grapes around him. He left my grapes on the bench. They went dry and they're ruined. So no good. Will broke my car. So the trip for me as a business was fucking horrendous. Fuel's expensive. My car got broken and my grapes are dry. But Wade and Will both probably learnt something and can take away from it. So I think for myself, at a personal level, like I said, with filling your cup, I'm pretty happy. I was pretty stern with my rule set about how to work around me, and probably got grumpy sometimes. But at the same time, I think that's how it's got to be,
Man.
because you learn how to work. If that not saying you guys are doing anything wrong, but it's just.
Yeah, there's just shit we didn't know, man.
If you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Because a lot of the stuff that we shoot is super outdoors, so I can't have lights and I can't mic people up, and I can't set things I can't pre-plan too much, because it's super develops on the spot type thing. So this was really cool to be a part of, and to be honest, you were sitting next to me, I had a moment where I was just super frustrated.
You
with
became
myself.
overwhelmed with the task at hand, which I had to bring you back, and you think about one thing at a time.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, I was super overwhelmed with I was just frustrated because, and it was when I sat back after I had my moment and stuff, I was like, that's normal because I'm putting myself outside of my comfort zone because I need to be able to grow. So it ended up it's beneficial to do that, but at the time it was super fucking frustrating because I felt. I wasn't incapable. That's not the right choice of words.
Incapable was definitely the wrong word. I think you just. If I had to put it in my perspective, you overthought a process, and thought yourself out of that process so much that you couldn't go. Fuck! It's so simple.
Yeah, I think,
and I've been there. I've been there even after doing it.
I think I knew what
hundreds of fucking times I've been there, and if I'm in a situation I don't know why, but for me, the highest pressure situations are weddings. And,
fuck yeah, they would be, wouldn't they?
And I think that's because I hold myself so accountable.
You have to.
And if something's not going the right way on a wedding, how I see it visually, it starts to fucking really eat at me. And what I mean by that is if a location is absolutely fucking bogus, but they insist that's where we do it, and I know that I can't make it work to the level that I want to make it work, that's when it eats me up inside.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's when I get frustrated and probably become less good.
Well, at the end of the day,
deal with for that client as well, because that's when I start having that thing that you were having,
Yeah.
and it becomes really fucking hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So
because I sort of knew what was needed, and I had a reasonable idea of the workflow and stuff. It was the depth of it.
yeah,
There's details, and it went into the shit yourself explaining basically human behavior to me.
Yeah.
With how to think about shots and stuff. I knew the shots. I had a good idea of what we needed, but how to actually achieve that in a way that's super. No, you're right. Oh, then the secondie. Second. Yeah.
Another pepper jack.
I fucked up with not the Pinot, but yeah, like
It's only because I'm not drinking.
yeah, the depth of understanding that you need, and that's just experience in the field.
And it's the same thing with piece of cameras. I would have probably probed questions. You would have gone, "What the fuck's he even talking about?" But the reason is because
Tough.
it's you got to go. Sometimes you got to step away from the who, what, where, when, why, and start to ask things.
And that's
Yeah,
that's
And-
where I identified, because I operate by the who, what, when, where, why
mate.
to tell a story.
90% of my business is who, what, where, when, why, and I think you learn that in fucking primary school,
Yeah,
and I think I learned long division in high school. I'll be fucked if I know how to do long division, but the who, what, where, when, why is, whoa, believe it or not, it's what makes me money now.
yeah.
So,
It's
Go
the
figure.
base of storytelling, man.
well, exactly right. And I think, so it's pretty crazy to revert back to that and think 70% of my business is probably based on who, what, where, when, why.
Yeah.
No long division. So if you're
Yeah.
in school and they bring you that, get rid of them.
We'll do the cat noise. That's clean as day. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. Like, it was a huge eye opener for me anyway. And yeah, at the time, I didn't hate it. At the time, it was difficult, but I feel like being comfortable is not correct. Because yeah,
No, not at all. Like, and that's,
it promotes
let's go
growth.
back to where this conversation first started.
Yeah.
A fucking mundane 9 to 5. Comfortable.
Yeah,
Like I love nothing is easier in life than knowing how much you're going to get paid every fucking Thursday,
and your super and your leave and all that bullshit.
because when you're fucking broke on Wednesday, you know what's coming on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're so comfortable in life. And I think so many people just, that's it. They go, fuck, that'll do.
Yeah.
And then you work.
Then all of a
you
sudden,
retire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is that like, I don't, again, when you said, where is this industry going? I don't know my retirement plan yet, but I'm happy to ride the wave that is keeping me happy and keeping my cup full and keeping me content for as long as I can. And because I don't have anything tying me down, I can 100% have fluid movement. I can change, I can shift, I can adapt. And I will continue to do that for as long as I can. And then when shit hits the fan, plant section at Bunnings. I'm fucking
that's the
fine.
other thing too, man. Like,
Or snags.
Yeah, fucking. If I ever see fucking,
And onions go on top.
they fucking oath they do. Whoever, yeah, that ruined sausages on bread.
They actually came back last week.
Did they?
Yep. So that is a proof COVID is almost over.
Oof.
So the restrictions have eased so much that you can now get a snag at Bunnings, which is pretty serious gear if you're into snags.
Yeah, until someone sues you when you slip on a fucking onion.
Not when I'm making them.
Lost my train of thought.
They're held in by sauce.
Mustard and tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like people get so caught up in the comfort and don't actually live. That's what I'm shit scared. Like I'm shit scared already that I haven't done enough, seen enough, not doing enough, and everything like that.
Oh, think about this. You're going to die anyway.
That's
So
yeah.
do what you fucking want to do.
Yeah.
And like that was for my first year of business, all I cared about was how much money I could earn. And I can earn money. It's possible. I can earn money and do this and do that. And then the second year, it started slowing down. And by year 3, I had a conversation with one of my really good mates, Alex, who's very, very, very financially driven. That's why he does what he does.
Yeah.
And he said, how are you scaling? How are you growing? How are you doing this? And I said, man, this year my biggest fucking goal is to be healthy. And he went, what? And I said, man, I want to fix my stomach. I want to be happy. I want to sleep at night.
Because
That's
people
all I
don't
care about. And he
yeah.
went, what about growing as a business? And I said, fuck, I don't care.
It's because people are so narrow-minded, man, that they don't realize the broadness of that. So you look at, okay, you improve your health, which means you improve your mindset, which means you're more productive, which means that flows onto your business, which means you're working with less effort for more.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Like, people devalue things that are like distantly connected to the thing you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, for sure.
Long term. And people don't look like far enough down the track. Like, goes back to the conversation with the kids doing $50 car shoots.
Yeah.
Man, and I understand you're fucking 17, man. You don't know what you're doing. But if you, and I hope this message.
When I was 17, I was doing them for free. Just to put that out there.
Yeah.
So if I could have got $50, fucking, that was getting spent on a carton of UDLs or something dumb.
And that's the thing, though. And like, I hope some 17-year-old kid listens to this, but to be able to have the forward thinking to plan and say, like, in 5 years' time, I want to be doing this for more.
Yeah.
So, like,
oh, for sure.
Do it for 50, but be thinking about a strategy. So, like, me doing that for 50, what does doing that in 5 years' time get me? Like, doing this now to benefit me later is always the way, I reckon.
Well, this is you doing this now outside of what your old 9 to 5 world was might increase your quality of life.
Already has.
And you're happier.
Yeah.
You might work for a fuck a load less, but just be more content with what you're doing.
And I already am.
Yeah, and I think that's again, like, I don't even know how many times I've got to say, fucking fill your own cup. Don't worry about anyone else's cup. Fill your own.
You have to fill your own first before you can put it in anyone else's anyway.
Mate, if you don't want to put it in anyone else's, don't. If you want to, like, I don't know.
That's...
My energy right now goes into my life.
Yeah.
Everything goes into my life. And like I said, I'm at a point where I realise I need to probably be more present with my family because I need to enjoy that as much as I possibly can before it's gone because everything has a time limit.
The fact that the fact that you've identified that, and this is another thing that where I think people don't want to self-analyse because they don't like picking on themselves. So if you pull back and look at a situation objectively and you go, fuck man, like, I need to see my family, and then just walk away and go do something else. Or you go, fuck man, I actually need to see my family and think about it, like, when was the last time I seen my mum? When was the last time I seen my dad? Because, like, you could end up like me. I was very lucky because I spent heaps of time with my dad, so I don't have heaps of regrets, hardly any. But what if I didn't see my dad for 3 or 4 years, and then he fucking died?
Yeah.
And we weren't distant, and we didn't dislike each other. There wasn't any bad blood.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him and get to say the things I wanted, or do the things I wanted to do. And next minute he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
That was the sobering fact for me, where I was like, his death, as bad as it was a huge turning point in my life for saying, listen, man, stop fuck-assing around. Like, I was like, oh, I kind of want to do this, and I kind of want to do that, and I'll try this, and I'll try that. And I was like, when he passed away, I was like, no, can't commit. Because he used to always say, I wish I did, or I could have done, or I should have done. And by his age, it wasn't feasible.
Yeah. Do you listen to Rob Dial, the Mindset Mentor, by chance?
Yep.
So I listen to his podcast every day. And that's my driving podcast. That sometimes I absorb all of it. Sometimes I look out the window and go, holy fuck, I just drove 25 minutes and I don't know where I am. Like, it just, you know how you
man,
get in a car and drive, and then you get to where you got to go, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I got here. One of those ones. But he's got one that's headlined, "Is the world getting better or worse?" And he explains his assumption right now through everything we're going through internationally is the world is actually getting better, and it's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So what he says is, if you're fucking fat or obese, probably the more applicable way to say it, if you're obese and you have a heart attack, and you survive, if you're lucky enough to survive, what's the first thing you do? Instant lifestyle change to dramatically lose weight to better your life.
Yep.
So when bad shit fucking happens, it's generally an eye-opening tool to change the way that you live your life to become a better person or do better things or to readapt your lifestyle to be the best version of yourself. Losing someone is a fucking horrible, horrible way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's also a way of fucking changing who you are as a person. And like you just said, unfortunately, it was your father you lost, which all due respect fucking sucks, and my condolences go to you. But if you're saying that's what gave you the drive within to change the person, so my biggest thing around mindset shift is I want to alleviate frustration from my life.
Yep.
I'm easily frustrated, and I think it's because I have the problem.
You're high energy too.
Where everything has to be fast.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing that I'm trying. And like you said about people are afraid to self-analyze.
Yeah.
And accept that there's something going on. I know I'm too easily frustrated.
Yeah. So you can you can do it two ways. So you can go like, this is who I am, fuck everybody else.
No fucking
and then
way.
That'll,
I'd rather...
Yeah, exactly. I'll be frustrated for the rest of my fucking life.
That's how I've lived the last 28 years.
Exactly.
And people have gone, he is an asshole, or people go, oh no, that's what he's like.
Yeah.
So the people who know me know that. The people who don't know me go, he's blunt, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with fucking being the blunt asshole, and it's because I'm not going to pretend ever.
Yeah.
And I'd never lie to someone about what I thought about them.
Yep.
And that's fucking plain as day. And some people go, oh my God, I respect that so much. And there's no point ever being fake in this world.
Nope.
Because it gets you nothing. And
I've
it'll
got
get
no
you
time
burnt.
for those people.
100%. It'll fucking, that's the thing, it'll just get you burnt. So I reckon in the 100% of people I've met, 50 like me, fucking 50 don't.
Yep.
And I don't fucking care.
You don't have to like everyone. Just be respectful,
Exactly
and
right.
that's it, man. You don't have to be
Exactly right.
friends.
You
Just
know,
be,
and that's the thing. There's like, again, reverting back to the internet, there's so many things you can read that make you understand in general society what works and what doesn't.
Yep.
And being a cunt doesn't work.
No way.
It doesn't get you anything. Even if you have the fucking highest profile, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I wish we could name and shame that MC from last night.
Oh, there'll be but like I don't know. I'm probably, when I say I want to help everyone, I'll 90% of we're good. I'll help you, but there's still always going to be 10% of me that goes fuck. Like,
leave me alone.
I'm trying to have a break here, you know. So if you get a weird bite from me, don't take it to heart. It's probably because I'm just fucked. I'm probably just burnt out.
But I prefer people like that because you know where you stand.
Yeah, but
and no one's going to talk bullshit around behind your back.
Yeah, I think that's probably a really good way to think about it as well. But like I said, it's just I'm not offended by people who don't like me.
No,
and I think that's how everyone should be, because so many people are concerned about what other people think. If you can make yourself happy, and the people that are in your immediate circle,
people will come to your life.
Immediate circle, why the fuck should someone you don't know like you?
Yeah,
they don't need to.
No,
and they don't need to pretend. That's like when a celebrity dies.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh my God, it's so sad. Is it fucking sad?
Are you actually sad?
You're not sad. You're not sad.
Or are you actually just disappointed because that content that they're putting out isn't there anymore?
It's the same thing. If you buy a $700 Balenciaga hat, does the guy from Balenciaga go, fuck, I appreciate that guy who bought that? No.
Yeah.
Buy something off one of your mates. There's a fucking high chance one of your mates has a brand. There's a high chance one of your mates has a business. Go to them. They will appreciate it. They'll be the guy who gives you a fucking hug when you're upset.
Yeah.
The fucking whoever, I don't even want to know who runs Balenciaga. One, because I don't know. Two, because I don't give a fucking. Three, the shit is disgusting. I don't like. Get a grip. Get a grip. Buy 9 of your mates' fucking shirts. You know why? Because he'll be able to feed himself. He'll be able to fucking feed his family.
That'll get you the zipper off a Balenciaga jacket.
It'll get you nothing. You can't even get on Balenciaga's. You can't even get on their website with $900. You're fucking locked out. They check your bank account before you get on there. I can't get on. It's fucked. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is circles, man.
Yeah.
Life is circles. You can have 100 circles, one giant circle, and you need a tiny circle, but have a circle, make it count.
But you need to be accepting of those circles changing too, as you change.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think so.
And that's the thing. Let it shape, let it adapt. Like I said before, people when I don't want to party, people stop calling me, and they're still my mates. They're always going to be my mate, and I'm always going to be there for them. But that's the same thing. They stay your mates. You don't shit where you eat.
No,
you just
no. And have the respect. I think it all ties back into what I was saying about this job. Like, I feel like I wasn't incapable. What the daunting thing was, and I thought about this today, is I think what the daunting thing was is you're obviously a way higher skill set than me. So,
But I'm not. I wouldn't say it's a higher skill set. We can both hold a camera. We can both film. We both understand how it works. I have done it thousands more times than you.
yeah, I think
So you imagine there's a bike jump and I've jumped it 100 times. You're going to go jump it the first time.
Yeah.
You're going to wig the fuck out.
Exactly
Man. How
that.
fast do you go? What do you do? Do you lift up? Whatever.
Yeah. Yep. And
You know?
a lot of it, like the outdoor side of this job, I was savvy as-
element,
I was
done.
fine.
You're at home.
I was sweet as. I wasn't a drummer. It's the I don't know what you call that type of shit, but that style of stuff, I was like, fuck, man. And I wasn't. It wasn't like I was trying to compete with you or anything like that. It was just like, fuck, man. Like I was looking at you work and I was like, that's the level I need to be at. And it was frustrating because I wasn't there.
Yep.
And it's because I care so much about what I'm trying to achieve that I feel like I should be there.
No, passion's good.
Yeah.
But I think I've definitely been in the same place with frustration, subject to knowing that I can 100% do it, but it's not happening in front of me.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
And when you sit down to edit, it might be the exact same thing. You're going in your head, fuck yeah, I know I've got this. This is going to be mint. And then you look at it, and if it's not how you remember it, or it's not how you wanted it, it's going to really, really dishearten you.
yeah.
Really, really dishearten you. And trust me, I still get it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Because there's discrepancies in things that you do that you can't control.
Yeah.
And, well, in a way you can control them, but there's some things that just don't work how you think that
It's
they
normally
work.
like an afterthought, eh?
I got up this morning at 6 o'clock to shoot at one specific, which isn't early. Fucking,
No, it's not.
it's early when you've just done 5 16-hour days in a row. But I got up to shoot one specific shot. I put slides on. I walked up there in my fucking pajamas and I shot the shot and I did the whole thing in one record. I didn't even press pause because there was 3 minutes left on a memory card. And it's within great confidence, not a single second of that will be used because I do not like it.
Yeah.
But I did it because I knew I needed it. And I knew if I didn't try, 3 days later I would have went, fuck, I wish I got that shot.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a let me down easy process, but it could also really fucking work. It could mold perfectly with clips I shot 2 days beforehand, which is what I was trying to emulate. So you never know.
Yeah.
Good things come to those who try. And if you don't try, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Force yourself out of your comfort
And
zone.
I would rather try and fail
Yeah.
than not try and go, fuck, I wish I did it. And I think that's, for me, is a massive thing. Because, like, same thing as me quitting. Like, legit, man, like, I worked and got this job at Yamaha. I literally, when I got it, I was like, this is it. This is my dream job.
I'm here
You
for
know?
life.
That's what they called you. They
Yeah.
called you a lifer. And I felt I would have had the ability to weasel my way around the world with these guys because they offered opportunities like that between Japan and New Zealand, potentially Europe, stuff like that. That was my goal with that as a career, was to work internationally through
Yeah.
Yamaha, which was the possibility. But my other goal was also, if I'm not happy at work, I need to do what makes me happy. And unfortunately, that came first
Yeah.
for my career path at Yamaha. Not unfortunately for me, because now I work for myself, and when I step away from all the bullshit that is actually running my own business and doing it, I am happy.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's a hard thing to do. You got to, like, life is balance. Work life is balance.
That's the other thing.
It's 3 years, and I'm still trying to find it.
I don't think you'll ever stop, man, because
I don't think crazy enough, I've never asked anyone.
No.
I'd love to ask Ben Godfrey, who's been doing
forever.
fucking literally forever. I'm literally so AFC, Australian Fishing Championships. He was a camera operator. I think he was a fisherman on it first and won all their brim shit, and then became a camera operator. He's evolved and moved on, and I've got picked up in the whitewash of him, and now I'm doing what he was doing. which is crazy to even think of it in that kind of perspective. But I'd love to sort of to pick his brain to see if he's at the point where he goes, I've found the balance.
Yeah. And he probably has.
And the balance is most likely to take on less work.
Yeah.
To stop saying yes. But one thing I can recommend is be a yes man if it offers, and I fucking hate the word opportunity. It gets used way too much. But I can't think of something that represents opportunity other than the word opportunity. So be the yes man who says yes to opportunities that can help you grow.
Yeah.
That can assist in your growth, that can assist in your skill set. If it doesn't do that, say no. There is no fucking need in your life to do things outside of the scope that help you grow.
That is actually a really clean cut way of putting it, man. And it ties in exactly what I was saying, like short term pain, long term gain.
Well, how about this? If it does no good, it is no good.
I mean, that's fucking...
That's what my dietitian told me about alcohol. So, sorry. I'm drinking a Shiraz. But, you know, if it does no good, it is no good. And I thought about that. I went, you know what? That fucking hits home because when I was... If I go out on a Friday night and I fucking put 30 beers away...
Yeah.
Saturday's a write-off. Sunday's healing. Monday, my brain still feels
mush,
underdeveloped.
Yup.
So what's just happened? I've just lost 3 days of my life to one good night.
Yeah.
Why don't I just do 3 nights of 2 beers?
Yeah.
Or 3 beers. It's fucking you can and you don't miss any social event. All you miss is the carry on that happens after 11 o'clock, which is when shit fucking hits the fan.
Yeah.
When you're prone to sustaining injuries. Like the last time I gave it a good nudge on the piss, I tore my groin on a bean scooter. What the fuck?
That's a way better story than me.
Yeah, I come off a scooter, fucking full berries on the front lawn in West End, did my groin. Like, no good. But, yeah.
Yeah, fuck. That's still better than me. Well, no, actually, maybe not. Because I just get into scraps.
No, well, I've got screws in my ankle subject to alcohol as well. So I think poor decisions come with poor decisions, and that's...
It's a slippery slope.
Think about it this way. Good decisions come from good decisions. If you woke up and you're happy, you're healthy, you're probably going to have a good day. If you're hungover, you're grumpy, you feel like shit, your day's going to suck no matter what you do. The only uplifting thing you're going to do is a zinger box.
Until you eat it.
With cheese.
Until you eat it. No dairy for you.
No, then you just go to bread. You go to bread. You go to bed with regret. It's as simple as that. That's my plan. If I drink Friday, I wake up at 3 p.m.
How bad?
At 4 p.m. I have a zinger. At 5 p.m. I go to bed. I wake up on Sunday happy as... Well, actually, I'm pretty sick still.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of a zinger.
How bad is fucking being hungover the next day and being filthy at yourself because you don't get out of bed till 2 p.m.? I fucking
That's pretty bad, but also to put into my terms of what I do as a job, if I'm hungover and I'm not there mentally or physically and I film, I will look at what I do when I'm going to edit and I do nothing but shake my head because it 100% alters the way that I perform.
100%.
And I guess it works the same as anything.
Yep.
If you're a fucking F1 driver and you got on the Terps the night before, there is no way you're driving a car good.
No.
No fucking way.
No.
If you're
It takes your body a long time to process that shit. As much as you're like, I
think it's 3 days. There's no such thing as protein synthesis in your body after you drink heaps of piss. No. Which means if you train,
it does nothing.
Don't fucking drink because
that's why
you're wasting your time.
Roids.
That's probably what steroids are for. So macho man can have fucking a couple of martinis.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It's a crazy thing. I think my biggest focus this year is eat my greens, drink less piss, try and work a little bit less to find a balance because the balance will actually create growth within myself and my business. Don't be a snake. Smile more. Love my family. Drink less piss. And I'll put that in there twice because fuck, I love drinking piss.
Yeah. Just don't do shit that doesn't benefit you long term.
And if people appreciate you, appreciate them. Like if someone's giving you a leg up, fuck, they should mean the world to you.
Yeah.
Like let them be the holy grail of people that you hang out with, because that's a true friend will help you grow. A shit friend a shit person will hold you back. So,
Identify those and shit can those motherfuckers.
oh, fuck, do a day. Like, I see everyone on Facebook, it's like, if you're reading this, you haven't been culled. I've just culled 400 people. Fucking do that in real life.
Actually,
if there's someone who's no good and they're just toxic to what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve in real life, you don't need to blatantly say to their face, you're cut off from me. Just fucking limit your conversations with them, or limit your communication.
Yep.
And watch how much better things get for you.
Yeah.
When you remove yourself from toxic places, there is way less toxicity.
Yeah. Well, I just unfollowed like 5-8 people this afternoon. And not out of, they weren't toxic or anything like that, but I just don't enjoy their content. But that doesn't mean I won't bump into them down the street and have a beer. Like,
right, so yeah, exactly,
like,
exactly right.
People need to identify that as well.
If
That's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole. But
I won't even. That's a rabbit hole I'll never go down. The
Socials.
fishing industry.
No.
If anyone listens to this outside the fishing industry, stay out. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible.
I think it's any industry, but man, like,
it's mate. Like the marine, like I think everything's a lot
every
smaller
industry,
than people think.
shit shed is.
I think that's a problem when it's driven by politics, and even crazier than politics is ego, because fishing and ego, two peas in a pod.
Most things are ego, man. I feel like
look, I don't see any fucking macho men walking around with cameras, bro. So,
Well,
I'm pretty happy if we can do this and stay in our lanes, all gravy.
suits me fine.
But yeah, there's some fucking macho men out there casting around rods. That's no good for anyone's health. But yeah, like you said, rabbit hole, not going down it. Your podcasts can't do that because people get upset. It's the internet, and on the internet, people can just thrive. So yeah, get rid of that. And yeah, like I said, eat your greens, love your family, love yourself.
Self the
If it
piss.
doesn't do anything, fuck. If it does no good, it is no good. That's all I'm going to say. If it does no good, it is no good.
We've nearly been going for 2 hours.
Good night.
How do people find your shit, man? What are you all about?
If
Weddings.
No, weddings, you can jump on just amckphoto.com.au for anything else business related, fishing, boating, marine, commercial content, real estate, you name it, I'd probably do it. It's amckcreative.com.au. That's also my Instagram handle is at amckcreative. If you want to hit me on a personal level, Andrew McKinstray, I'm an open book. If you need help, I will help you. If you want to have a yarn, I'll have a yarn. If you want to go for a beer, I will have one beer and one soda water. I like to keep a fine balance in this day and age. And as I said, turning 30 soon, so it's coming.
Fucking, I'm going to throw you.
My impending doom is arriving.
surprise
soon.
30th.
My impending. Yeah, well, there you go. I'll see you all at my 30th. Let's go.
Thanks heaps for your time, man. I got mad respect. And that'll go a long way. So, I actually have a listen. Get up.